Okay, we're recording, Bill.
Okay. So welcome, everyone. I'm Councilor Bill Solms, and I'm calling this special meeting of the Ledyard Town Council Finance Committee to order. Present in the room are myself, Councilor Ingalls, member of the committee, and online we have other member of the committee, Councilor Tim Ryan. Also in the room, Mayor Allen, WPCA Chair Ed Lynch, former, I hate to say that, Finance Director Marcia Hancock, and Councilor Naomi Rodriguez, and Chairman Kevin Dombrowski. Online, we have Roxanne Marr, Councilor Mary McGrattan, and Director of Emergency Services, Steve Holyfield, and I think someone else just joined us. At least I heard a door.
I heard the door.
It's windy.
That's just the wind.
Ah,
Mm.
okay.
Naomi, is there somebody over there?
That can be happen too sometimes with the wind
It's unlocked.
pulls
So.
on that door.
That's amazing.
Okay, so we have a big item on the agenda tonight, several actually.
Thank you.
Thank you, Naomi. So I will first ask if there are any citizens who wish to speak. Now is the time. And I don't see any. So we'll move on to, we have several informational items. We have a request from the probate court in Groton for ARPA funding. We have another request for ARPA funding from SCADA, the Southeastern Connecticut Council on Alcoholism and Drug Dependence. We have also an update and an original email from Naomi Rodriguez about social services, clinicians, and mental health. That said, I would accept a motion to approve the minutes.
So
I
moved,
move-
Councilor Ryan.
Second, Counselor Ingalls.
And is that all of them? There are meeting
Four,
minutes from our
five.
work sessions,
Yeah.
and so all together?
Counselor Ryan, are you moving all the minutes together?
That was the intention. I
Okay.
can word it as such if you'd like.
That's right, that's okay. Any comments, corrections?
No.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Mr. Solomons votes aye, and the motion for all the minutes passes to accept. Oh, and also, Finance Director Matt Bonin is at a finance meeting conference, so he couldn't join us. That's why Marcia's here, and also because she did so much work on the budget.
I just so you know, I don't know anything about anything other than the budget. I think the mayor's handling all those.
I don't know anything about anything.
So, oh boy. So I will pass over the finance director's report and move to new business and accept the motion for item number 1.
I move to recommend the town council authorize the administrator of emergency services to overexpend account number 010, sorry, 0101-20-2040-2041-51130 overtime in the amount of up to $5,000. Funding to be transferred to account number 0101-20-2040-2041-51130 overtime at the year end.
Is there a second?
Second, Councilor Ryan.
Thank you. So because we had a blizzard in, what was that, January? Yeah, we had a blizzard in January. The emergency services, specifically the firemen, are required to be on the job, on duty.
Yep, contract.
So that required us to run over on their overtime budget. So that's the reason. Now it's $5,000. Any questions or comments?
Yeah, I mean, Steve's on this call too, but I think it was 36 hours a piece for all of the career firefighters for that that storm. We had them in beforehand so they wouldn't go home at the end of their shift, so that they wouldn't have to try to come back during the storm. So it was a good bit of time, but we are you know, it's one of those things that occurs once every 5 to 7 years, and
Yep.
just kind of got to be prepared to deal with it, but not really budget for it either. Steve, did you want to add anything?
No, those numbers were correct. I believe it was 36 hours of overtime each. I think all 5 actually came in. You know, that's a pretty significant hit on a budget that doesn't really have a whole lot of fluff in it. You know, we account for, sorry, I'm driving to dance while we're doing this. We account for the overages like, you know, working fire callbacks and an hour here, an hour there for late calls. And then we have a significant event. I believe this was somewhere in the area of $6,000 or $6,500 in one occurrence, which is really 2/3 to 3/4 of the overtime budget, which last year was $8,500. So it's a significant impact on the budget. And, it's not something we normally budget for having I'll call it a catastrophic event or a major event like this to pop up every year. It's just unfortunate that we have to deal with it on the years that we do get major storms that fall completely outside of their working hours.
Got it.
Okay, ready to vote? All in favor, please say aye.
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 Council Johns votes aye, and the motion passes. Next item.
All right. I move to recommend the town council appropriate $80,000 from the American Rescue Plan Act funding to account number 2104011 TAC 58240 TAC G0014 for the replacement of the HVA system in the town hall.
Second, Counselor Ingalls.
Thank you. So we have this on the ARPA list, and the amount was about 75,000, and the bid came out at 76,000.
78, it's almost 78,600. Yeah.
So we're basically raising it from what we had on the ARPA list to $80,000. We will still fund it from ARPA. I've updated our spreadsheet with a new dollar amount. And I think we may have had this on capital. I don't remember, but it won't go into capital because, or on this in the SIP because we're approving it this evening.
Yep.
The HVAC units were installed, we believe, over 10 years ago. Not all have failed, but because they were all done at the same time, we expect they will fail. So better to do them all together than in piece parts because that'll cost less.
Yeah.
Than replacing them one at a time.
The ones that we had from grant funding were kind of a lesser off-brand type. These are all train units.
Oh,
And which come highly recommended. But equally important, the vault in the town clerk's office, because the whole thing is surrounded in concrete, has a huge humidity problem seasonally. And the humidity gets up, they have a humidistat in there, but when the gauge gets high, they actually have to bring in what we call it the Penguin. It's this little black rolling AC unit.
Yep.
And they have to get that in there to try to bring the humidity level down so the old historical documents don't start molding and mildewing. But part of this project includes one of those Mitsubishi mini systems that comes through the wall. So it will have its own heat and AC unit in there. So I think we are very confident that's going to solve that problem.
probably do a better job than the Penguin.
It definitely will,
Where will
without
the
a doubt.
penguin go? Over here. with
Penguin's
the
gonna
owl?
have to go away.
Back to South End.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, Penguin will leave.
Okay, ready to vote?
Mhm.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, Councilor Ryan.
Councilor Sons votes aye as well. Next item, please.
That's me. I make a motion to propose, to stop pretending I don't need these. Okay. I make a motion to a proposed fiscal year. Motion to a proposed. fiscal
Recommend.
year-
Recommend.
Recommend, yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Recommend a proposed fiscal year 2022-2023 budget in the amount of $63,484,221, comprised of general government, $28,928,902, and Board of Education, $34,555,319.
Is there a second?
Second, Councilor Ryan.
Thank you. So I have not said anything about this budget because we can't have illegal meetings, so I'm going to say it now to the other counselors. I believe that when this budget was put together, we knew there was inflation. We didn't know it was running at 7%. During our 3 budget workshops, we made some adjustments, and I would say we made those together. The town council did, or the finance committee didn't cut the budget. We just made some adjustments together in those meetings. The reduction was approximately $66,000, and it was mostly due to new information. My thought is this is a responsible budget. I am not inclined to cut it further. I'm actually concerned that we may run into some problems by the end of that year due to inflation. So my inclination is to approve the budget as is. But we're here to talk about it and make additional adjustments. Councilor Ryan, you asked a lot of questions that were excellent during the 3 budget workshops. And I want to compliment you on those because Andrea and I have been doing this for a while. All of us have been doing it for a while. And when someone new comes to the process, looks at what we're doing and asks questions like you did, it's helpful to everyone. It helps us
Absolutely.
relook at what we're
Yes.
doing. And it helps other people who are saying, what the heck are these folks doing? It helps them. They have the same questions. So I just want to thank you for all the work you put into the process. It was excellent.
I think it's a mutual feeling. I thought it was a very genial budget process. I especially appreciate the patience of the finance department, especially Marcia with all the questions I asked, since she has all the history. I agree with you, Bill. I think this is a responsible budget. We questioned a lot of items on there. And in a lot of circumstances, the explanations that were given by the department heads were definitely well prepared. And they didn't give me any feeling that there was any gray area in any of the departmental budgets that weren't accounted for. As you said, there were adjustments here and there, and just so the public is aware, it's not like there was just one adjustment that reduced $66,000. There was many larger adjustments that netted the overall adjustment of $66,000. And those budget documents are available if the public is interested to see where those large adjustments were made to achieve the net. I do want to note that this still only constitutes a very slight mill rate increase, which is impressive given the observations you've had, which is the inflation and the overall increasing costs of certain commodities that I agree with you, I feel is something we're going to have to address maybe mid-year. I think about fuel prices. I mean, they have to plateau at some point, but hopefully, and hopefully with the release of oil from the strategic reserve, that does something for us. But I still have some hesitation there as just one example. But I do believe that this is a responsible and conservative budget that meets the needs of Ledyard residents.
Councilor Ingalls?
Yeah, I agree. I had the same thoughts about inflation and specifically the fuel. But it's during the process that if there seem to be any inconsistencies, we become aware at that point. And I think by this point in the workshop process, I'm pretty confident that we've looked at everything. We go through it line by line.
Right.
I'm not sure people really realize that we do that. So I agree. I'm comfortable with it as it stands. And I also agree that the year ahead is going to be really challenging. And we're probably going to be taking a look at some numbers mid-year that are going to make us sad.
Yeah.
And Bill, if I could take my nickel back, one thing I don't want to go unsaid. Actually, you already kind of said it, but just to reiterate it is I do want to compliment the mayor and his department heads on producing a responsible budget to begin with, to which there were, as we stated, not many adjustments made. So I know a lot of work went into that. And as I intimated before, I really do appreciate the department heads each coming in and being well prepared for the budget discussion and ready to answer any and all questions. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Tim. I'll open it up to other counselors. Counselor Rodriguez.
Okay, I'm not sure if I'm reading this right, but on the second page at the bottom, healthcare BOE retirees, is that supposed to be zero?
I'm just opening up that spreadsheet. If you can give me a
Is that
second.
under the mayor's budget?
Whatever was here.
Because we added a column, or we added
Whatever
a,
was here, I clicked on it and that's the budget that opened up.
So we took it out of one and added, so we took $590,000 out of the actives and moved it to the retirees. I think that's what you're asking. It was 590,000.
I'm saying zero. So is this must be an old version then.
Um,
I
Maybe
clicked on whatever else here to click on.
I thought there were two entries, one, yeah.
Well, don't look at the mayor's budget, look at the in-process budget. line
yeah, it's
item.
FY 23
Mhm.
Yeah,
in
Yes,
process.
exactly.
oh, that's probably, so it would show for, it's an added account. So for the previous years, it shows as zero. And for next year. it shows
right,
as
but in the
five.
mayor's budget, it also shows a zero
Yes,
with an
this
added
is-
line item.
This is 22. I don't know why.
Okay, so whatever I clicked on that.
So I think, Marcia, we had the retirees in the actives, the active employees line, and we just
Mhm.
moved them out.
So what you told me to click on, I did, and that's what it's showing.
Okay, but at the top, it shows that this is fiscal year 22 budget.
Yeah, part of
So
that is
I
trying to,
don't
as you know, work through getting accurate representation of the retirees, their
Correct.
names and actual
FY
numbers of
23
them.
budget.
Correct, same with the actives.
Okay.
So here,
We're getting closer.
you look at like.
Yeah, so Kevin is finding the right column.
Hmm.
It's just a column issue. I just wanted to say briefly about the fuels. That Steve and Matt and I have been tracking the prices since the end of November. And we use dime oil. And they've been giving us pricing updates 2 or 3 times a week.
Nope, that's fine.
The one I got today looked pretty good. I mean, it's down a bit because of the changes. So I sent an email to Matt and Steve and said, is it time to lock in? And Steve, who has kept, I think Tim may not know this, everybody else does. He has a spreadsheet going back 25 years.
You know, when we were
Yeah.
running around in Flintstones vehicles.
Right.
I know.
And tracking
Very thorough.
the prices and I defer to him because
Absolutely.
he knows the ups and downs, and he said that he is inclined to go with the float.
Yeah.
And anytime we've gone with the float price and not locked in, we've actually been in a better position than we would have been if we had locked in.
Yeah.
This year is clearly a who knows what
Right,
type year.
Yeah.
right.
But might be a good year to just kind of,
Wait
he sent me
so
an
long.
emoji of somebody floating in a
Yep.
an air-filled thing on the ocean, and that's pretty much, but I can see the sharks, but maybe we won't get bit, so
We'll know in a year.
we'll know in a year.
So I also want to compliment the Board of Ed for a 2.62% increase when their contractual employee increases range near 3%. Again, a responsible budget, and they are a large part of the town budget. So I appreciate, I expected a much higher amount from them, and I think they've also done a good job. The town council does not comment on or adjust line items in the Board of Ed budget. We can only approve the bottom line, which is, as I said, 2.62% increase. And as always, I want to thank the finance department employees in the mayor's office, along with the Board of Ed, for the work they've done on this budget, especially in this transition year. We moved to a new software, which is ClearGov. And Marcia retired and brought on a new finance
Yeah,
director.
yeah.
So it's been quite a transition. You guys did a great job. So, thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I think Matt is.
And
is
thank you
doing
hugely,
really well.
Marcia, for doing what you did in this instance, understanding that there was going to be a transition and being willing to consult with us through the budget so that the new finance director doesn't come in and say, congratulations on your hire, you now have a budget to do.
Yeah, and software, you probably have no
Yeah,
idea about.
exactly.
So we know nothing about.
Yeah, so that was
Yeah.
unbelievable. Thank you.
Very happy to do it.
So, anything, Kevin?
No, I think
No,
you guys
okay.
did a wonderful job.
All right.
I do
Okay.
appreciate the budget that. you put
All right.
forth.
You
A
guys
lot of
ready?
hard work.
Thank you. Thank you. You ready to vote?
I'm ready to vote.
All in favor?
Yes.
Ice cream.
Damn masks. All in favor, please say aye.
Good to know, just so you
Counselor
can put
Ingalls votes
toppings
aye.
on it, right?
Counselor Ryan votes aye.
And Counselor Psalms votes aye, and the motion passes. We will move this to the town council for next week's meeting, and then we will bring it to a public hearing on April 25th. The council will again have an opportunity to make further adjustments based on public input, and then it will go to a town meeting in May, followed by referendum where the residents vote. So thank you all. Next item, please.
I move to recommend the town council set a hybrid format, video conference and in-person public hearing date to be held on April 25th, 2022 at 7 p.m. regarding the proposed fiscal year 2022-2023 budget.
Counselor Ingalls seconds.
So I should have just let you read that and explain.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
So we're just setting the meeting, so no comments or questions. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye, Counselor Ingalls.
Counselor Ryan votes aye.
Counselor Psalms votes aye, the motion passes. Next item, please.
I make a motion to recommend the town council set the annual town meeting to be a hybrid format, video conference and in person regarding the proposed fiscal year 2022-2023 budget on May 16th, 2022 at 7 p.m. in the Ledyard High School auditorium, and to adjourn to a referendum to be held on May 17th, 2022 between the hours of 6 a.m. and 8 p.m. In addition, should the referendum fail, the subsequent referenda will be held between the hours of 12 p.m. and 8 p.m. in accordance with Chapter 7, Section 6 of the town charter.
Is there a
Second, Counselor Ryan.
all in favor, please say aye.
Aye, Counselor Ingalls.
Counselor Ryan votes aye.
Counselor Psalms
All right.
votes aye, and the motion passes. Next item, please.
I move to recommend the town council adopt a proposed fiscal year 2022-23 water operations budget in the amount of $1,530,561.
Second, Counselor Ingalls.
Thank you. And Chairman Lynch from the WPCA is here. They have spent a considerable amount of time and effort putting this water operations budget together with the help of the Assistant Finance Director, Ian Stammel. So I will see if Councilor Lynch or Chairman Lynch has any comments.
No, I just, we did have to do a 3% increase, but considering
Yeah, so
what we're up against.
Yep.
And we will have a public hearing at the end of the month.
Yep. So the 3% increase is being passed along. It's a water rate increase from Groton
Yeah,
Utilities, which,
the major funding is
Yeah.
water.
so we've learned not to hold back when we get an increase in cost, we have to pass it on, and that's where the 3% comes from. And yes, there is a public hearing on April 26th,
Yes.
for public input. Comments, questions?
Just a reminder, that you're not allowed to really make money or lose money. Like, this is, I just feel like it's just one of those things that the public should be reminded about every
Yeah,
time the budget
absolutely.
is brought.
Right, and where that becomes, if we're in a drought, we actually bring in more money because people are spending more money because they're using more water. But that money pays for the raw water that we pay for, and anything we have in excess goes into capital.
Mhm.
Right now, we're having a tower, this Friday, there are people actually diving into the tower to inspect the inside. Now, we're hoping there's no problem. We know there's a problem on the outside. And we're looking at probably $1 million. And we don't have that saved up. We're
Yeah.
close, but we don't even have that saved up. So any money we have in excess goes into capital
Mhm.
for maintenance.
Yeah.
And the other thing we're doing is demoing liabilities for the town. There are 3 places where the town the insurance company keeps dinging us every year about these abandoned sites that we have that we need to demo.
Right.
And it's coming out of our funds. So the first one is $122,000 to take down the gal fill tank. And there's a bunker there that has asbestos in it and lead paint, by the way. So we're, that's the struggle. We're trying to, do a fair, our rates are lower than SQA. So if you are in the SQA subdivision, you're paying more than you are in Ledyard WPC. Matter of fact, SQA, every time SQA ties into us, they make their payers pay, but they get a cut rate from us. So we're not doing too bad.
So this water tank that you're mentioning is in Ledyard Center. It's 15
Yes.
years old.
Yes.
And we were advised when it was built that we should be setting aside money
Right.
because the work that's being done is maintenance work. It's basically painting the inside and the outside of the tower.
Right.
So that's what you're talking about
Right.
with needing work. It's
Right.
maintenance work on a 15-year-old tower.
Right.
And if we don't do that work, it just gets more expensive.
Oh, yeah.
So,
The work is more expensive.
so this present WPCA worked very hard to play catch up and start setting aside money.
That's what
And
we've
then-
been trying to do.
Yeah.
Which
So-
they weren't doing. They were saving only 20,000 a year. And we upped it to 80 to 100,000 a year. I mean, over time, we're in better shape. But we need to be honest with you, as we look at subsequent years, we may have to up it a little bit more.
Yeah.
It's not,
Well,
we're on that raggedy edge of.
I believe the original estimate was $500,000 to paint that tank.
But that was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Right.
What they were saying, in 15 years, it's gonna cost half a
Well,
million.
maybe there's
Well,
new technology. I'm keeping my
I
fingers
know.
crossed that there's new technology that would take advantage of the low cost.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what we're trying to do, give a fair rate to the players, but also maintain a good system.
Yeah.
You don't want to I've been in a town where you wake up in the morning, you turn the shower on and there's no water. It's not a pleasant day. You say, "I can't take a shower." Yeah, because the water system failed. So anyway,
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Also, the town council approves the water budget. It is
Correct.
included with the budget for the taxpayers to see, but actually the town council approves it. We do not have authority over the sewer budget. That is managed and approved by the WPCA alone. So, you guys ready to vote? All in favor, please say aye.
Counselor Ingalls votes aye.
Counselor Ryan votes aye.
And Counselor Sons votes aye, and the motion passes. Next item, please.
Am I up?
That's you.
Okay, I make a motion to authorize the mayor to execute a 3-year contract with Granicus Civic Engagement Platform as presented in the proposal dated March 31, 2022 as follows. Fiscal year 2023, $15,952. Fiscal 2024, $17,068.64. Fiscal 25, $18,263. In addition, transfer $4,892 from account number 101-10201-51067 mayoral assistant to account 011-2151-53690 MIS operating for software support.
Is there a second?
Second, Counselor Ryan.
Thank you. So, $15,000 to $20,000 a year approximately for this software. As I recall, when we originally purchased what at the time was called IQM2, we calculated that the town saved $50,000 a year in paper, postage, and related expenses because all of the information that's online was mailed every week to all the counselors, plus all the boards, committees, chair people. It was a tremendous amount of paper
Wow.
going through the mail.
Oh, yeah.
And we sat at the council podium and just turned pages over and and just finding things. It was not only hard to manage, it was much more expensive than what we're spending on Granicus. We had IQM2, we went to iCompass. We're going back to what's now called Granicus because it did more for us than iCompass does. And I was telling Chairman Dombrowski before the meeting that I'm now taking vote counts, motions and
Oh, yeah.
seconds on paper because I just got tired of trying to
Yep.
keep up with it in IQM2. Or I'm sorry, in
Compass.
iCompass.
Yeah.
So this is a good move. Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah, you know, as you know, we had hoped for more with iCompass. It didn't really perform. It wasn't very intuitive. I think they kind of sold us on something that maybe it was going to be more than it was. One of the
Yeah.
things that really lacked was workflow. So, you know, let's say an item has to go to finance, or it goes to town council, then to finance, then to land use, and then maybe back to finance, then town council. That had to be done manually every single time. So Granicus was kind of like the Cadillac when we got into that business, or into that, using that platform. Granicus then eventually bought IQM2 and it disappeared. But we did a demo with this new software and it's fantastic. And we have the ability to do video recordings of the meetings. And the great part is, if you want to see an agenda item, when you click on that agenda item for the minutes, it takes you right to that point on the video. So if you're watching, or if you want to see what the deliberation was, you can click on that item. And on the left side, the window opens up and there's the video and the audio, and it is amazing.
They had to get that from IQM2 because IQM2 did
Well,
that.
Yeah.
Granicus
Yeah, I
bought
remember
IQM.
Yeah, but they
right.
pulled that
pulled that feature.
functionality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they disassembled it, took what they
Oh, yeah.
wanted, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
That was one
shelved the
part.
rest.
Right.
But so the annual fee starts out actually slightly less than what we're currently paying.
Right.
They had wanted a lot more money for the setup to begin with, and I had tried to negotiate that into 3-year payments. So I tried to negotiate the 15,000 into 5, 5, and 5, saying, hey, we're in a 3-year agreement. They wouldn't go for that, but they would break it up over 2 fiscal years. So that's what we're trying to do here. And Kristen's account line, the mayoral assistant line, she was budgeted for 40 hours a week. She has not been able to work 40 hours a week yet. So we have money there that we can use to pay the fee for this year.
Good.
And I think, you know, Roxanne is obviously on the call. I think she's very excited to get started with this platform. Kristen is too, and I think everybody else will really appreciate this.
What I like,
Roxanne, are you excited about this?
Oh, yes.
She already let me know.
Yeah. well,
Yeah.
what I like most about it that I don't like about iCompass is you could click on an agenda item and scroll through it and see every action that had been taken historically on that item.
Yep.
And I actually have a question on one of the items on our agenda under old business. I don't know what's been done on it, so I'm going to ask somebody here. What are we doing? Are we acting on this or not? I could have looked that up if we were on
Exactly. Yep.
So I answered my own question. So, you guys ready to vote?
Just one question.
Enter.
Mayor, you had stated that the current cost for this year is less than what we currently pay for iCompass. How does this compare for the 3 years? Is it less overall expense?
I think this one has I believe it's a 5% annual increase.
Over what we're paying?
Yeah, so
Okay.
so in year 2, we will be paying, I think, something like $300 to $400 more than year 2 of the iCompass contract, and the following year it's a little bit more still. So we're still talking several $100s more on an annualized basis.
And what happens after? I'm sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say that's after year 1, so then 2 and 3 it increases a little bit. We don't have any options to renew beyond year 3, so it's just a matter of starting the process over again in terms of negotiating a new agreement with them if we choose to stay with them.
Gotcha.
So one more quick question. Is this number reflected in this fiscal year's proposed budget?
Yes.
Guys ready? All in favor, please say aye.
Counselor Ingalls votes aye.
Councilor Ryan votes aye.
Counselor Solomon votes aye. The motion passes. Thank you very much. Next item.
All right, I think this is me.
Yep.
Yeah, I move to recommend the town council approve one tax refund in the amount of $2,479.01 that exceeds the $2,400 in accordance with the tax collector departmental procedures.
Is there a second?
Second, Counselor Ingalls.
So this is another one of those cases where the escrow company paid and the owner paid. So we had to give them, one of them had to get their money back. It's more than $2,400, which is the mayor's authorization limit. So it comes to the town council and we will push this forward for a vote next week. You guys ready to vote? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye, Counselor Ingalls.
Counselor Ryan votes aye.
Counselor Solomon votes aye as well. Motion passes. And we will move on to old business. So the first one is capital improvement plan. And I have gone through our current ARPA list, matched it up against the SIP in what's it called, ClearGov,
Oh, yeah.
and done my best to track the two. I didn't get everything that's on the list, but most of the things that we have in our list is going into the SIP are showing up in the SIP. And the reason we did that was so that taxpayers would have a chance to vote on how the ARPA funds are spent. Also, we have asked for input in multiple ways on social media. We held a public hearing and we got a lot of ideas from the public and from various departments on where we could spend additional funds. So
Well, if there are pieces missing
Yep.
from ClearGov, I need to add those in.
Okay.
Before the public hearing. so
Yes.
that
Yep.
We have that. So I'll look at your list when you're done.
Okay, thank you, Marcia. I did make some adjustments in our list, like I put some things that we didn't have as being on SIP that are in the SIP. So it goes both ways. I'm trying to make the two of them balance. It won't change how we spend the ARPA funds, but it could potentially change what's in the SIP. It won't change the budget. It won't change the mill rate,
Right.
because if it's being paid for with ARPA funds, it's already covered. So it won't affect the taxpayers' mill rate. So does anybody have anything else on the SIP and as it relates to ARPA? Okay. Also on item 2, I updated the ARPA funding list and I would like to go over that because I think we are close to a final list and we have several things to look at and I would like to spend some time on that. For anybody who has to leave or wants to leave, we could discuss item 3 first, and that's the legalization of cannabis. That's the one I don't know if we need to take action tonight or not. We don't. Okay. Right.
It's still with land use,
It still is. Thank you, Kevin. All right.
and they have questions.
Yeah, they do. I thought as much. So, on the-
Actually, the land use committee of Naomi is there. They did approve the fact sheet to forward it on to admin, so it'll be on admin next week. So they're kind of done.
I have one question that I think was answered by Juliet. And that was, did we have to do the 10% petition?
I had said that last month that we didn't have to because the charter allowed us to.
And so I needed that question answered and Juliet said it was fine.
Actually, I sent an email out yesterday and Juliet also signed on to it as well. Juliet did check with CCM and she also checked with the town attorney, and the town council can choose to put whatever questions they want on the ballot as long as we do it within the state statute guidelines, which would be 60 days prior to the November election. So cannabis, according to the state, is legal. And if we want to ask a question, we can ask whatever we want.
So
Yep.
we're done with it in non-use.
Did we approve the question?
We did.
Well, I don't want to take over.
Is it
the
ARPA?
meeting.
Yeah, no, that's all right. That's
Oh.
all right. No, it was, this is about the cannabis.
Oh, okay.
But the reason I asked for it to get put on the, really on finances at the holding, because if it's approved by the voters at referendum, if the question goes on the ballot and it gets approved at referendum,
Yeah.
there is a tax implication
Right.
so if we do allow it in
Right.
town, there is a tax implication that the town would be able to impose onto any industry that comes into town. So that's the only reason why. So really I have to go and finance more of a holding in case it does get approved that referendum.
And then we would have to collect those taxes and administer,
Correct.
because there are requirements for this, while the
Yeah,
money is
for
spent. So
specific uses.
For
Yep.
specific
so
uses, correct.
that to me says there's a cost to the town
Yep, exactly.
to implement.
Right.
Exactly. And that's why I asked it to be put in
Yeah.
for you to hold on to it
Good.
as at least as a future potential item.
Thank you.
Just,
So Bill, I have up the fact sheet on the screen right now, so you can see as part of what they put onto the fact sheet is the tax section. So the state would impose a 6.35% tax. The town would then also, in addition to that, impose a 3% municipal tax. And according to the law, they need to be used for specific things, and that is listed here in this fact sheet.
Thank you, Roxanne. Okay,
And
so we
the
will
tax-
take. So we won't take any action on that.
hey, Bill,
Yeah, Tim.
just as a discussion point, I'm assuming that everybody at least peruses the day once in a while. There was an article about Norwich's action on a similar item for their city. And a little different there because the council also acts as the zoning authority there. So they've gone ahead and taken action on this already. So it's something that a lot of municipalities around us seem to be getting out ahead of. And so I guess I'll be interested to see where it goes for us. So if you haven't read that article, it's a good one to read.
Thank you. I personally, I think we all find it helpful to see what other towns are doing.
Right.
We've done that with ARPA. It's been very helpful to have input from you, Councilor Ryan, about what other towns are doing with ARPA funding as well. And Councilor Ingles too has mentioned a couple of towns and articles. Prudence is always a good thing. So, thank you. Okay, so I would like to just run through the ARPA list. And thank you, Chairman Dabrowski. So let the minutes show that Chairman Dabrowski has left the meeting. He had another engagement. We now have two views of the rubric. One is a weighted matrix, the other is an unweighted matrix, question raised by Councilor Ingles. And I'm going to start with a weighted matrix and just point out to my continuing amazement that we have the funds to afford most of the items on this list. The big items that we don't have the money for are a regional water interconnection, which is being paid for differently anyway, and Highlands water main upgrades, which we need to do at some point, but we think we can apply for drinking water quality funds and other things to do that. So we are, at least in my version of the spreadsheet, we are not including those two projects for ARPA funding, simply because we think we can get money from other sources. And the total amount, dollar amount for those two projects is $3.5 million. It would really take a huge bite out of the ARPA funds. That said, there are a couple of smaller things that I don't presently show as being funded by us. And let me see if I can tell you what they are. The next one on the list is Court of Probate, and we haven't recommended that just because we don't have a dollar amount. There's a meeting, I think, tomorrow.
No, the 29th of April is
29th,
when we get a
yeah.
walkthrough of the current court and their proposed new space.
So we may have better information on what their dollar amount request is for that one. So right now, we don't have a dollar amount and we don't have it on the list to be funded. The next one is solar powered crosswalk signs. Again, just my personal opinion. I have this feeling, and there was some conversation on Facebook about this, and I didn't really say why I'm concerned about DOT, but when DOT does something with either stoplights or signage or guardrails, there is a potential liability for municipalities as well as the state. This was explained to me by a DOT professional. Said, if there is a code upgrade, in other words, the safety code is upgraded and a town doesn't implement according to that code, they can be sued for not following the recommendation. So can the state. So the end result is we get more and more and more signs for our roads that we're potentially liable for if we don't put them up. But when we do put them up, if we don't put them up on other roads, we're potentially liable there. And my feeling about solar power crosswalks is great idea. I love it. It's for the safety of individuals, but I fear for what happens if we don't put them everywhere. We're probably still liable anyway if we don't put them up. But anyway, that's something we should talk about. We have a dollar amount. I don't have it on there, but if the counselors feel differently, we can put that in there. The next one I don't have in there is Sandy Hollow guardrail. I think that was 55,000.
That's in there.
Yeah, it's 225 grand.
Oh, 225.
And you remember Steve Maslin got the pretty version
Yeah,
of the pressure treated lumber, like what you see on the Merritt Parkway, and that was over $1 million.
Yeah.
So he's like, if you want
Yeah.
pretty, it's $1 million. If you want the standard galvanized ribbon, it's
Yeah.
2.25. And that number, I don't even know if stands now based on inflationary pressures.
so
It's such a scenic highway.
it is.
And-
It is.
And I think we got from Chief Rich
Exactly how I feel
the
about it.
accident history. We had one vehicle enter, not even the reservoir, but like that swampy area at the end,
Yeah.
closer to Whalehead. And that was it.
Yeah.
So it hasn't had a lot of cars, well, it hasn't had any cars entering the reservoir per se. So,
I got another perspective on this. Mine is the same. I think we're gonna see outrage if we put steel guardrails. I think
Yes,
people
you
love
will.
that road and they're gonna be very
Yeah.
upset.
there was outrage when Groton Utilities cut all the trees along there. Remember, they
Yeah,
used that
right.
mowing machine and mowed them down.
Yeah.
So you're
So-
right, I agree.
A couple of people that I spoke to said, well, it looks terrible now.
Oh, yeah, with the broken off posts. and
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe we should think about it, but that's a big chunk of money and it would then prevent us from doing some other projects
Mhm.
if we authorize that. Also, we feel that Groton Utilities, since the reservoir is technically their property, although it's leased from the town, they should perhaps contribute, and we've asked before, and so far they've not been inclined to do that. Another suggestion I got was, well, how about if we do it, if we can get permission from Groton Utilities to run the Tri-Town Trail through the reservoir?
Yeah.
Another good idea. So that's the
Right.
story on guardrails. The next one that's not included is install 5G in Ledyard Center. I personally feel that's the obligation of the utility companies. A swimming pool, which again would eat up a huge chunk of, and we don't have an estimate either for it, but it would eat up a huge chunk of funds. Swimming pool for the high school presumably, but it's citizen suggestions, not the first time. There've been many, many people who have asked about that. But more recently, if we did put in a swimming pool, it would compete with the VAT, which is a commercial business. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Not a taxpayer.
Another one that's not on the list is lighting for tennis courts at Ledyard High School. Also the athletic field fence. It is in the SIP. Money for that project is in the SIP. Replacing a missing street light at Cranwood on Pumpkin Hill Road
done.
is not in there because it's done.
Done.
And that's it.
Yep.
So if my math is right, and we continue with this list and the dollar amounts as proposed, we're coming in at, get over there, come on. We have 4.327 million to spend. We're coming in at 4.138. And if we put in a 10% contingency, that puts us over by $200,000. So we could either say, let's cut some out so we can pay for the contingency, or leave it as is and take a gamble.
Yeah.
So,
And as some of these projects start to come in, i.e. the air conditioning for town hall, and we get defined hard numbers,
yeah,
we can start seeing what that contingency is looking like. I mean, obviously, we proposed 75 and it was 78 and change. So we certainly weren't at the 10% contingency on that. But it's probably worth looking at that as we work through the projects and see other ones like the summer camp scholarships. There is no inflationary
right.
pressure on that
right.
one. The price is the price, so.
Right.
But some of the others, there will probably be some inflationary pressure.
Hey, Bill.
Yeah, yeah, Tim.
And I understand the history behind it. And probably Naomi could chime in on this too, but we still have the clinicians line here, even though it's not
Yep.
included in the total.
Oh, it's not?
No, that's not included in the 4.138.
Thank you.
At least per the formulas in the Excel spreadsheet.
You're right, Tim. You know, I've been staring at this thing saying, I just can't believe
Oh,
we're
okay.
coming in under.
So that's where the genesis of my question wasn't. So I guess I got my answer. It was not
Mistake.
purposely, it was not
Yeah.
purposely excluded because of
Nope.
the letter we received or
Correct.
Naomi's updated email. It was supposed to be included still.
So now I have a new total of 4.348 million, and we have 4.327 available.
Is that including the charging station?
Um,
No.
Because now it's 4.348.
hold on.
And yeah. Which is now over our allotted amount.
I have the charging station. I just corrected the formula.
Yeah.
So I'm going through line 55, including line 55, which is electric vehicle charging station at 20,000. By the way, I went online to find out what an electric vehicle charging station costs. And I went high on this. It's surprisingly low. It's $20,000. That's a really high estimate.
Okay. That's to own the charger, exclusive of installation?
It's to buy the charger and install
Oh,
it,
okay.
permit it, everything. The only thing it doesn't cover is cost of land. So if we approached a commercial business and
Oh,
said, we
right.
want to put this in your parking lot,
Right,
and
right.
they said, well, we'll charge you for that, that's not included.
Gotcha.
I doubt they would do that because it's a traffic builder. But anyway, I was surprised how inexpensive that is.
We
I-
should hear about the grant in the next few weeks.
Oh, community
So
challenge.
that's
So
what,
that's what
yeah.
comes back into.
that's
your-
half of $1.2 million.
Yeah.
So it could free up, we could do
Free up
all
a
of these
lot of
things
money.
if that came through.
Boy, I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know why. We should be
Yeah.
hearing really, really soon.
Yeah, they said April or May, and so
Yeah.
we're in that window now.
And Councilor Rodriguez, I have 190,000 in for clinicians. So, you're welcome.
Mayor Allen, about the
Yep.
charging station. Would it be feasible instead of putting it on a private business, like to put it like back here on town property?
We could, it was just a matter, you know, I think that the discussion involved the active corridor of Route 12 and trying to get it where
Right.
maybe somebody could plug in and then go to CVS, go to a restaurant, go to job lot, whatever. I think the idea was to try to get something like that on that side of
It was.
town.
So
Do
that
we
was,
own any land in Route 12?
do what?
Do we
Mm,
own any land in Route 12?
We do, but not near that business.
Yeah.
center.
Yeah, I mean, I think it could be just a matter of approaching Ocean State Job Lot and saying, hey, is this something that you would do? Or,
Or CVS,
yeah, or CVS even, yep, either one, and just approach them, or Spiro's, quite
any
honestly.
restaurant. Yeah, put it
Yeah.
in a restaurant, go in and have
Yeah.
dinner.
Well, they sure have high voltage lines going down Route 12.
Oh, yeah,
It would fit
Yeah.
really nice.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So this was from a citizen, it was Marianne Ellen DeBlecki, and she did, you're right, she said, put it on Route 12, that's the highest traffic count in town. and
Yeah.
that
I
would
got my
support
money
the-
in for my Lightning 150 Ford, so I'm on the,
You
don't
I'm
have
on
it
the
yet?
waiting list.
You go down there and park, have dinner and charge,
Yeah, that's right.
Mhm.
or
I
spend
know.
all your money in
That's
Ocean
right.
State.
Spend your gas savings.
Get your McDonald's. burger.
Oh, hey, Bill,
Yeah, Tim,
That'll only
just
take you
to,
5
just to make sure that we're jiving here with our numbers, even though it's nominal, the total now is about 1,000 over, Yeah, $21,000 over our allotted amount. And that's before we consider contingency.
Okay.
And also, I put in 80,000 for the HVAC. It was 75. I might have adjusted a couple others too, Tim.
Okay, all right. My point in bringing that up is that our wish list exceeds our available amount.
It does, yeah. So we will hope very hard for the sewer line.
Yeah, the grant.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should get it.
I have a question, Bill. Is the column G adding to the SIP, are those up to date?
The version I'm looking at is more up to date. So no,
Okay.
I'll send this to everyone after this
Okay.
meeting.
Oh, okay, good.
So, and to that, I changed town hall AC replacement. We had it for the SIP, and since we voted on it tonight, it won't go in the SIP.
Mhm.
So I'll send it to
Okay.
everybody.
The other one we were going to discuss too, Bill, was the food pantry roof tagged at 25 grand.
Yes,
I don't see how, unless it's a copper roof or a slate roof or something like that, I don't see how that runs up to 25 grand.
How many
It's-
square is it? It's not that much, is it?
They
I
can
don't
make you
think
some
so.
shingles over at I don't know.
Oh,
so I was talking to the mayor this morning.
yeah.
You had your roof done.
I had my roof
Just
done,
recently.
3 buildings. My house is 24 by 42, about the same size as
Okay.
the food pantry. That's a hip roof, which may be
Oh, yeah.
harder to do.
Okay.
But I had my house and my garage and my shed done for $11,000.
And your shed. Huh?
Yeah.
Geez.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe
So
that includes like, what do you call it on top?
Gold.
lightning rods.
Cupola?
Yeah, like the thing over on the police station.
Oh, the cupola? Cupola?
No,
No.
just
The
a,
weather vane?
yeah, something
Okay.
like that, a little decorative thing you do.
I'm gonna say no.
Maybe the penguin could go up there.
We'll put the air conditioning penguin up there. Yeah, so we might have, that might be an overstated number, which
Yeah.
could help get this back into
Yep.
balance.
So I have a question from the beautification committee, because they're looking to raise funds for the new mounts for the flags on the light posts. So they're curious to know when we're gonna have approved numbers and when they can know if they need to raise those funds or if they're gonna be
Okay.
part of the ARPA. stuff.
So I did not suggest that go into the SIP because they'd rather have the funds sooner than later.
Yes,
And it's a
right.
small dollar amount. I don't think
Right.
taxpayers will be upset if we voted ourselves to spend $2,520 for, but it's in there. It's in
Yep.
there for the brackets.
So when will they know? So
So.
it's not the SIP, so we're not waiting for the budget approval.
Yeah, so if we're in consensus that that's a small dollar amount, we ought to do it. We could ask Roxanne if she'd put on a legislative item, and we could do it at the next finance
Okay.
meeting, so.
I think they would love to know. 'cause
Yeah, they would.
They're gearing
Yeah.
up to raise their money and.
Yeah.
um,
So Roxanne,
Made a
could
bunch of-
you do that? I'll work with you on the dollar amount and the wording. This is for the brackets for Ledger
Yep,
10.
so you're talking
Okay.
about for the finance committee meeting of April 20th.
Correct.
The other one that's on there is the town promotional video. It was tagged at $6,000. I signed a contract this week for free.
Wow.
So,
Yeah, I
How dare
thought
you.
those were.
yeah, so they're doing banner ads
Yeah.
above and below the
Yeah.
video that are from local
Right.
businesses. And those banner ads are paying for the video.
That's how I thought it worked.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Some people on EDC thought it cheapened it out or whatever, but I'm saying, yeah, it did cheapen it out by $6,000.
Exactly.
They don't have much of a budget, so.
No, they don't have much of a budget, so I felt like, okay, this is a good opportunity to get the free, and it's still gonna be a professional video. They're gonna come to town and do a bunch of stuff,
So
but that's something you might be able to save too.
I have it in there for the SIP. I'm gonna take it out. I'm gonna make it a 0 for recommend, which takes $6,000 out of our bottom line.
Yep.
Thank you, Mayor.
Mhm.
Good news. Anything else?
Oh, you
No.
don't have to sit here. You're so
Oh.
kind.
Naomi,
I just wanted to say thank you very much from the bottom of my heart to the finance committee. I'm very grateful. Thank you.
you're welcome. I appreciate that so many people came forward with that suggestion. When we were at the Civics in Action today,
Mm,
how many kids in our group?
Yeah,
5?
yeah, I would say
Six?
so. Definitely
Yeah.
talking mental health. Yeah,
Yes,
it's a big
Yeah.
item.
Yep.
So the key will be getting staff in here to do that.
correct. Oh, yeah, so one of our informational
Mhm.
items, or maybe it was an email we got today, was that, is it St. Joseph's?
Yeah,
Okay,
It lost their accreditation,
Oh.
so a
Yeah.
source of interns.
We just
for
lost one
social
of them.
services.
we
Yeah.
had two, it was URI
Yeah.
and St. Joseph's.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
geez.
now she's approaching, was it Central or Eastern?
Central.
Central,
Mhm.
yeah,
Okay.
to see about their program.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
that brings us
that's-
And I-
down to only 1 or 2 clinician interns.
Yeah,
And I asked Kate about just availability of clinicians and she acknowledged it's rough
Yeah.
right now. There's not a
Mhm.
lot of,
Right,
right.
even if you could pay them $1 million an hour, they're just.
They're not in the
there.
program. Nope.
Yeah, it's rough. Any
Yeah.
of my friends who are in mental health are so backlogged.
Yeah.
It's sad.
we also have the Homeless Hospitality Center,
Yes.
$10,000
Yeah.
for them.
Yep.
Um,
I like that one.
That was a big one. Again, at Civics in Action, the kids
Yeah.
are, a lot of them were talking about
Yeah.
homeless,
Yeah, exactly.
homeless in Ledyard.
Mhm.
Yep.
What else we got?
Kristen did ask about the Parks and Rec scholarships in terms of how far out are we from approval? And let's see. She said, I would love to have the ability to utilize the $10,000 for scholarships this summer. In FY '21, we had 8 households receive scholarships for 11 campers, totaling $4,743.75. In this fiscal year, we've already had 7 households receive scholarships for 11 campers, leaving $2,417 in the account, with 3 applications due next week, and they're expecting 5 more in the next 2 weeks. So this is for summer camps that the Parks and Recs puts on, and they get scholarships that go anywhere from 100% to 25% based on income levels.
And she's also doing a fundraiser for that. too,
And she's
right?
doing a snowball campaign right now for it too.
Remember that when you're talking with other committees and stuff, if they're doing fundraisers, that we can do it through the town too, through Snowball.
Yeah, we have the snowball account. That
I
was
need to
something that
better
Linda
understand that.
put
Mhm.
together. We got it launched. We've used it a couple times very effectively. I think we pay, is it 1,500 a year for the
No,
service?
it's like
500.
600, yeah,
600.
5 something.
Okay, so we pay that much annually, but then you just do these campaigns and you'll say, you know, we want to do this. We need to raise money for X, and then people start donating. It's almost like what's the one?
GoFundMe.
It's like GoFundMe,
Yeah.
basically.
That's just for the town.
Yeah.
Any of its committees or.
Yeah,
I like that very much.
Yeah.
Because it gives interested parties the opportunity to directly support,
exactly.
and non-interested parties aren't, frankly, the tax burden isn't put on them.
Yep. Yeah, and there's no fee. So we pay the fee, but if somebody donates $1,000, it's $1,000 that comes to us for the program. It's not, oh, we're taking out a 10% management cost or anything like that.
And they can pay,
Administration.
the contributor can pay the fee if they want to. They
Yeah.
can choose to do that, so.
Here's another one, 2 more. I took Vin Godino's list for the up down sawmill,
Oh,
for the
yeah.
Nathan Lester house. I took his high priority items. I put in the high, I think I put the high,
The highest priority.
I did. I put the highest dollar amount
Yeah.
estimate for the high priority items. I've got 125,000 in for the sawmill and 40,000 for the Nathan Lester house. That's also included in the total.
Mhm.
And there could be grants for those. too.
Yes, yep,
And we still have the 35 in here for the lead paint abatement.
that's in there,
Okay,
because that was already spent.
that was right. Yeah, that was right up towards the top, probably.
Yeah.
right? There it is. Yep.
30,000.
Yep.
Um, I put the LED sign for Ledyard Center, I
Yeah.
think.
Yep. It's in
Do
there.
you see it? Okay.
Yep. I see them both.
Police radio replacement, we put that in a while ago.
Yeah.
Dispatch stations.
Yeah. Those are really needed in the EOC.
So yeah, I think that's everything.
Yeah. The
So,
list looks very comprehensive. I would say we have an incredibly diverse list of
Mhm.
projects here.
so
Sure do.
everything that we put into the rubrics really doesn't matter if we can afford all these things.
Right,
Right.
right,
But
which is
still,
nice,
yeah.
but I like that we did the
Yep.
rubric for a couple of reasons, including consistency, making
Right.
sound, consistent
Mhm.
decisions, and if we had to draw the line somewhere, we can tell people exactly why
Yeah.
the line was drawn where it was.
Yep.
And I think it's a very defensible approach to
Mhm.
all of the projects on here. If
Right.
anybody wants to look at it at a later date, this is what went
Yeah.
into it, and
Right.
months and months of discussions and talking
Right.
about various things and the pros and cons of everything. I think it was
Yeah.
very well thought out.
It's gonna be good for grant reporting or
Yeah.
if, yeah, chances are
Oh,
good.
yeah.
This is
Audit.
gonna get more scrutiny
Mhm.
than you would originally think because of our pals.
Yep.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
part of the state.
Oh, West Haven, you mean? $893,000,
Unreal.
yeah.
Unreal.
That's all I have, folks.
All right,
Thank you.
very good.
And it is
Good to see you.
6:06 and I don't see anybody objecting to adjourning, so we're
No.
adjourned.
I'm gonna go FaceTime that.